That's a bad riddle. Dad, riddle me that, Daddy.
Well, there's nothing they can do right now. Letting them just informing people what's going on.
Although the eye of Hurricane Katrina passed east of the city's federal flood protection system failed, resulting in the worst civil engineering disaster in American history. The catastrophe affected a great deal of the city and devastated the lower Ninth Ward.
Right now, I'm gonna buy ice. I mean, anywhere I can find some. No, I ain't selling that ice, man. Dad, you ready to get rescued? You gonna rescue it?
My name is Petty Officer First Class Kyle Niemi. I'm a Coast Guard Public Affairs Specialist. The Coast Guard, by design, has multiple missions. We have several missions. Our two primary missions are search and rescue and homeland security. The Coast Guard is the smallest of the nation's 5 armed services. We have something along the lines of 45,000 people. So, of course, when there's a storm entering the Gulf, we're going to pay close attention to it. And every year, preparation is very important for us. Every year, we would have a hurricane drill where we would make sure everybody knew the evacuation procedures and what their job would be if there was to be a storm. So, a few days prior to the storm making landfall, we established what we call an IMT, or an incident management team. And you set up shifts, and people have various responsibilities for planning, logistics, and operations. Before a major storm hits, we will advise that mariners secure their vessels, secure any waterfront facilities, get their boats out of the water, stay off the waterways. The Coast Guard has the authority to restrict or close waterways. So when a major storm is approaching, we will close a waterway to make sure that there aren't mariners out there putting themselves in danger. We don't keep our boats, our ships, our aircraft, we don't keep them in the path of a major storm. We will move them out of the area, we will secure them so that after the storm passes, we can come in immediately following and do our assessments and do any rescue missions that are necessary. The Coast Guard is credited with rescuing and assisting 33,544 people. There were people that were stranded on levees, there was people who were stranded on rooftops, people who were stuck in trees, and those are the people who were taken off by helicopter, by boat, or by ship by the Coast Guard, as well as many other responding agencies. About 12,000 people were rescued by air resources. Nearly 11,000 people were rescued by surface resources, and almost 9,500 people were evacuated from hospitals by the Coast Guard. As a public affairs specialist, I was placed on a helicopter from the Coast Guard's Aviation Training Center in Mobile. A lot of people that were stranded on their roofs or stranded in their homes entered our aircraft and our boats with their pets. Of course, we're happy to safeguard the citizens of New Orleans, whether they have 2 legs or 4. Every mission that the Coast Guard conducts can relate back to ensuring the safety and security of the American public. And Hurricane Katrina obviously was no exception. It was the largest response that I've ever taken part in. I really feel fortunate to have been given the opportunity to travel with some of those rescue crews, and this is the first time that I had seen a search and rescue mission right in front of my eyes. I loved the city. I loved the city, and to return to the city completely in turmoil, it was really heart-wrenching. As long as the hours were, as hard as the work was, I really feel blessed to have taken part in this incredible response. So I spent the afternoon with this helicopter crew. I remember departing a neighborhood realizing that if it hadn't been for this crew, these people might not have made it another day. But what's important to note is that it's not just the air crew that does the rescuing. It's the maintenance crew that keeps the aircraft in the air. It's logistical folks who make sure that there's enough fuel in supply for the aircraft. There's the people at the incident command post who put that aircraft and that crew in the right place at the right time. So there's a lot of people involved, but because all those people were able to work so well together, and because all those people were so dedicated, this helicopter full of people are going to be able to see another day. So in recognition of that and the fact that the entire Coast Guard, active duty, reserve, auxiliary, civilian, the entire Coast Guard did so well, the entire service was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation.
Even though some individuals have been able to rebuild, their memories have been forever tarnished by some of the horrors that they witnessed firsthand. Norma X described to me her ordeal in the Superdome.
We was at the Superdome and that was a mess. People urinate all over. They had no water. They had no lights. It just was filthy. The people did that, you know. We saw one old lady, the old lady must have been about 80-something, and they had to rape her and cut her just like that, from here all the way back. We didn't see them do it, but they brought her there and threw her in the yard at the Superdome. Nice looking woman, old lady, white hair like I got. They fed us good, but it's just, the people just disrespectful. They just didn't care. They didn't have no feelings for one another.
And now, more than 2 years later, many residents have not been able to return to their homes because they cannot afford to rebuild, and therefore they've been forced to abandon houses that have been in their family for generations. Others, however, have elected to return and are attempting to rebuild their homes themselves. I spoke with 70-year-old Elijah Johnson from the Lower Ninth Ward.
7:20 that morning it came in. My name is Elijah Johnson. Elijah was the only person that left right in a carriage. The water came in here that Monday morning about 7:20. Oh man, about 20 minutes, the water's all the way to 2 inches on the joists across the ceiling. You know, and I got out that Tuesday evening. See, I broke out through one of the little vents. I squeezed through one of the little vents, got on top of the roof. I was just lucky. God just was with me. I wind up in some part of Georgia, and it was about 2 weeks later I got in touch with my wife. Then my wife drove down in Augusta. We stayed in, but I won't come back here. Yeah, the $50,000 I got, that's all FEMA. And I put it in the bank and I just buy stuff as I need it, as I work. I've been working on it now. I started around, I guess around February, something like that. I figure from the way I'm going about doing it, trying to save money, so I have no other choice. I figure I should be finished by June, next June. My wife and the kids all be out of school and they'll be able to come back down here and start school. All this wiring got to be tore out, got to be done all over again.
The whole house needs to be done over again.
The whole house, everything got to be done over.